Now we are going to talk about tropisms. Plants respond in several ways. We call these responses tropisms.
There are three types of tropisms that we will discuss. Phototropism is the response of a plant to light. A plant will grow in the direction of light because it needs that radiant energy for photosynthesis.
Geotropism is the response of a plant to gravity. This is also referred to gravitropism. It is the downward growth of roots and upward growth of the stem.
Thigmotropism is the response of a plant to touch. An example of this could be a vine growing up a wall or
Phototropism is the plant's response to light. Plants grow in the direction of light to obtain that radiant energy needed for photosynthesis. Geotropism, also known as gravitropism, is a plant's response to gravity. Roots grow downward and stems grow upward. Thigmotropism is a plant's response to touch. Any kind of creeping or climbing plant would need this response in order to move. Thigmotropism would also be at play for carnivorous plants. When the plant senses an insect is in the vicinity, it closes up and traps it.
The three most important parts of the plant are the roots, the leaves, and the stem.
The roots absorb water and minerals from the soil and send it up via the xylem. The stem provides support and transportation of water, minerals, and glucose by moving them through tubes called the xylem and phloem. The leaves may be the most important due to the fact that the leaves are the site of photosynthesis. They absorb radiant energy, take in carbon dioxide, and use water to produce oxygen and glucose. Remember, plants are autotrophs, and photosynthesis is how they make their own energy.
Plants have three important structures that help them survive: leaves, stems, and roots. Study this diagram carefully. It has all the parts needed for plant reproduction in angiosperms. Remember, pollination is the method for reproduction in this case. So pollen given off or produced by the anther is transferred to the stigma, and the stigma then will receive the pollen. The pollen will move down through the style to the ovule and ovary, and then an egg becomes fertilized and becomes a seed, and the seed then becomes part of the fruit. Flowers are the reproductive structures in angiosperms.
A plant has reproductive structures just like any other organism. If the plant is an angiosperm, it will reproduce through pollination. This is just the transfer of pollen from one angiosperm to the next. Pollen is the male gamete produced by the anther. This gamete is then transferred to the stigma and pollination takes place. The stigma is the structure that receives the pollen and transfers it down the style to the female gamete. That female gamete of the plant is produced in the ovary. Fertilization results in the diploid zygote, which is the fancy term for a fertilized egg.